at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Saturday supplemental scheduling show. It's the SSS. So we get together on Saturdays. Oh wait, we got to put this link out to our Patreon people. With our Patreon people to schedule the show a month ahead. So we usually get together on the second Saturday of the month. At least we've been doing it for a couple months now. Got everybody here. We've got Bob, Dano, Z, myself. I don't know if Smeggy's working today or maybe he's shooting.
I'll take care of the Patreon.
Oh, right on. Thanks. So, oh wait, I don't know if you can, Bob, or Dano, because I can send it to just the Patreon people through my end.
Okay, I was going to post it just on the page, but yeah, yours will do an email.
Yeah, no, I mean I'll do the internal link so they can jump right in through a Patreon thing.
Yep.
So I'll just post just to the Patreon. So if you are a Patreon show, that means you're supporting the show over at a place called Patreon.com. It's basically a way that you can contribute $1 or so a month, and there we go, talking at the same time, and then have an opportunity to jump in like this when we schedule the show out, and give us some direct insight to what we're going to be. In other words, we put your topics in directly to the schedule, so you have what we try to call that mainline access to the show schedule.
What happens when we get more than 6 contributors?
Then we're going to be in trouble.
I'll be the first one to bail.
So we just posted the link. So anybody that, we gotta make sure I send this to Patreon only. That's the whole point. And then publish now. So now the people who want to can jump through the Patreon page and jump into the chat as well. Of course, if you're on Gun Channels, you don't have to go over there. Just let us know and we'll send you a link. And then, of course, anybody else who might want to jump in who is familiar with the show and wants to give us some ideas for shows, topics, and stuff, that's what we're here for. So we're basically scheduled out through March, if I remember right. So we'll be digging in. Let's see, where are we at?
And Patreon members, check your email for that link.
Yep. Well, or you can go to the Patreon page, or if you have your.
That would be the only way that they could hear it right now, correct?
No. The show is broadcast live to anybody who wants to listen to Dano eat ice cream. But what we're saying is we sent a link to join the chat through the Patreon account, so that if you go to Patreon, you can just see the link there, or if you have your notifications set up to send you an email every time a notification comes out, like Dan was saying, you can just go to your email and check it.
All right, I gotcha. Thank you.
So we're actually scheduled out to the end of March, so we'll be scheduling April now. But we're talking about, we've had a couple of people request states for our weekly focus on states. So we were thinking about off air here, we're just talking, we're going to change up some things in the existing schedule. Hopefully it won't bother too many people, to accommodate people who want to jump in and give us some information about their state. So if you're one of those people who are interested in doing that, communicate with us either here in the comments or via email. We have an email, dailygunshow@gmail.com, and you can let us know. We know we do it on Tuesdays. We can be flexible, so we could change it if it works better with your schedule. But if you also let us know if you need some time to work on it, we're not going to schedule it for next week or something. So let us know a time frame, what when would work for you, and then what day would work for you, and then we'll be happy to have people on to give us firsthand knowledge of some of these states. We're only in 4 of them, really, 3 of them.
As well as more of a historical perspective, because I can look in the gun summary to give the state of the state affairs, but I don't necessarily know the way it's been. As well as
what it's like to actually live there, how it's how it's implemented. All right, so the whole point of the show is that we're we're watching the chats. We're going to be scheduling out the month of April. So if you're able to type in, give us some ideas for some of our show topics. I'll go through the weekly topics. We pretty much need all of these, and we'll just repeat the topics a few times throughout the show today. and we'll just keep asking for ideas, and whatever we don't come up with, we'll fill the holes ourselves here. But we'll basically schedule out the month of April, and let's get to it. So we've got a couple of things that we look for. On Mondays we do the Gun Channels University, so the behind the scenes glimpse or chat about the how-to of putting up gun related content. So anything that you might have questions about or something that you'd like us to cover, feel free to throw some ideas out for that. On Mondays, we also do Gun Tech, where we usually talk about more technical stuff or bring up issues that relate to the mechanics of guns. So any kind of gun tech topics you might have, we'd be interested in. Tuesdays, we do Second Amendment issues. Like we mentioned a minute ago, we try to feature a state each week. So if you're interested in, like Dano said, giving us some insight to what it's like to live there, let us know. Right now we have Maryland next week. Then we've got on the schedule at least Vermont the week after that, and then Oregon, and then Florida, and Minnesota, Michigan. Then we don't have any, so we'll still need. Actually, we're good up through April, but we can shuffle those or swap those out if somebody again is interested in jumping in. But besides that, we do have a Second Amendment segment on Tuesdays. So any Second Amendment issues you think might be worthy of talking about, let us know. We do a good idea, bad idea on Tuesdays every week, where we try to, I think we try to find points that we might not agree on, right? What chat should you be watching? I think the Gun Channels and the YouTube, just like normal. We don't really have a chat room or anything over on Patreon to watch additionally or anything. Right, so then
a question here: where should I be looking within the show notes for future states? At least, and as we mentioned, these are potential to change. But just so when I'm looking on the weekend to start to put together my summary.
Q&A.
Yeah, it's under. It used to be Q&A. So on Tuesdays, there's a third line there. So I highlighted Texas, and if you go down, there's Maryland.
Okay,
The H
gotcha.
row.
We'll probably move it over to where it says gun advocacy, because there's no point in having a third row, right? And we just added that, so we'll probably just move it to the gun advocacy.
Okay, yeah, because that's where I thought it was, and it's like I was looking in the wrong column.
So then that's a good point. So we have on our schedule, at least right now, we have a first segment of Tuesday is Second Amendment issues. Then we have a good idea, bad idea, and then the third section is gun advocacy. I don't know if that's redundant. It seems kind of redundant. So maybe we can figure out a better way to arrange that, add a new topic or something or whatever. But keeping going with just the summary of topics so that people know what kind of things they can give us ideas for. Wednesdays, we do a CCW topic each week. Then we also do our entertainment topic on Wednesdays. We're always looking for creative things there. We have the tactical quiz on Wednesdays, and of course the pop quiz every day. So offer is always open for people that want to contribute ideas, ideally some questions with answers, and if they're debatable type of questions and answers, or have more than one answer or something, perhaps a link to some.
It can always lead to lengthy discussions.
Yeah, but a link to wherever you got your answer. So at least if we're using that as an answer, we can show people what we're going from. Then we've got gun stuff on Thursday, which is our sort of catch-all junk drawer of gun topics. Then we've got a training topic every Thursday as well. Always looking for ideas for that. Fridays we do alternative gun topics, and also the gun business or the gun biz. So those are the topics we'd be looking to fill up for at least the next 4 weeks or so. So we're looking for ideally 4 topics from our audience for each of those segments, and then we'll throw them into the schedule. Night Strike says that ice cream must be good. What flavor was it, Dana? It was vanilla. It was Dana.
It was Crunchy Oat Squares from Essential Everyday.
I don't know what that is. Is that cereal?
It's generic, Life cereal.
Oh, cereal. Okay.
And I'm done.
I know where Cave was saying working and listening. And Jason saying I can help out with Alabama. They'll email after the show. Sounds good. Did I mention Alabama, or is that one? I don't think I said that one. So that's one of the different ones that we have up here already. That's good. And then what do we got? Nothing on the gun channel side.
I was gonna say we'll need to get the guys on Tuesday to come back for that one.
Andalusia. Oh yeah, it is Alabama.
Yeah. What four are we trying to fill in specifically? Or all four is what you're saying. I was just trying to scroll through the show notes, and I was trying to find out where you're starting.
Oh, I'm not clicking on anything necessarily. I'm just we need all those topics. I mean, we have a couple filled in already, but I guess we'll just again. So let me scroll down to April 3rd. First one we're going to need is the Gun Channels University segments. So just to give people up to date, this month we're going to be talking about Patreon level, using Patreon, using the internet on the road, so traveling and using the internet are a couple of topics we've got coming up. And we can keep going with topics that are of our interest, but that's the point of this show, is to get some input from viewers to see what kind of stuff you'd like us to talk about. So I'm not going to jump into that one necessarily. Those usually come to me as either as I encounter something or I see somebody struggling with something out and about, either on Instagram or on the internet or something in general. That's where I usually get those ideas. But always interested in what people are interested in listening to, because that's definitely better than what we feel like you should hear.
Something I want to go ahead and ask the audience to do, and we don't do it often enough, and that's bad on us, is just take simply a moment now, and if you enjoy the show, please give it a thumbs up right now, because it makes this show available to more people in their recommended feed. It makes a potential that it'll get out to more people, and thus we will help grow the show. And so we would greatly appreciate it if you just took a few seconds to go scroll on down and give us a thumbs up, and I would greatly appreciate it. I know my other hosts would as well. So if you could do that for us, we would greatly appreciate it.
Good point, especially when we're live, because when you go over to YouTube Live, there must be some people that go over there to see that. You see how many people are in there, and I'm sure the thumbs up have something to do with what gets posted over there. And imagine just doing gun-related, like people that subscribe to gun-related shows. When they go to their main page of YouTube, if they go in that way, then it'll be one of those things that says, "This is live now." So any ideas from you guys? Since we're not getting a heck of a lot of feedback right off the bat here on the beginning of the show, do you guys have any topics that you guys, the hosts, would like to address that we either have addressed in the past that are worth touching on again, or that we just never touched on that you'd like to add to the schedule?
I had an idea that I just wanted to throw out there. I'm not sure where it would fit best necessarily, but one would be the different types of concealed carry classes that are out there. What I mean is if you're just starting from zero, do you simply take a one and done sort of class, or where does a person start? What's something above that, and is there something above that for a civilian? I.e., they may start with something as simple as an NRA basic pistol, just as an example, and then they may take a local, combat pistol 1 or something like that, or concealed carry, range time, or range, how should I practice when I go to the range type training course? What sort of thing should I practice?
That's a good one. I'm going to take a second, though, to address a question that came up from Harry over on the Gun Channel side. Whenever you're watching a video like this one on Gun Channels or any site that it's embedded, that you embed a YouTube video on, and you can tell it's a YouTube video mainly because that little icon from YouTube, and you'll kind of get used to what their display looks like. Anyway, if you click on the video to play it, YouTube video on, you don't need to let it go on, but down that'll open up a different, the full window. And down here, there's always going to be a link, and that actually takes you to the video on YouTube. So if you, like what Dano was asking people to give a thumbs up, when you get to the YouTube channel, then you can thumb it up over there. So thanks to everybody who is doing that. And I just figured how about I say, instead of just giving a guy a fish, teach him how to fish. So that's how you can find the YouTube link from any.
Exactly, as well as the embedded windows do not offer the option of a thumbs up or down.
Yeah, that's weird. They wish they would, huh? Seems like it wouldn't be that tough. They can shove an ad out through it. They should be able to take a like through it.
Exactly. All right.
So
So,
anyway,
what day of the week was the one that, or were you not finished, Daniel? My bad.
Well, I'm not sure. Did you guys understand what I was trying to say or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, is that training? That's going to be a training segment.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Down is like, how do we summarize that? Like the types of CCW training classes.
Well,
Sure.
or he also mentioned defensive pistol. So, like, is it like a training timeline or something like that? If you started, basically with the NRA thing, and then he was talking about maybe taking the local. So, I mean, are we pretty much talking like a table of not a table of contents, but a framework, basically?
Yeah, a possible path. And obviously, anyone can stop wherever they want. Get off or diverge.
So what do they call that? The what do you call it when you're going to school and you get like schedule, I guess? Yeah, I'll use that word for now, but there's a better word for that, I think. What do they call a bunch of classes that you have to take? The prerequisites? No, that's
Prerequisites.
Syllabus.
syllabus, maybe? That's a better word, right? Because that gives you an explanation of all the classes that you might need to do.
What's
The
going to be
other
required
idea,
for you to complete the class?
and I only mention this now because it ties in with the other, is, and this might be a very short thing, but the difference is on why somebody might want to take a combat pistol class versus a concealed carry class, because they are not, although there are similarities, there are real differences between the two.
Well, I think that's different from the CC. I think those are two separate subjects for sure. I definitely think that the first one goes into the training where you're talking about. The other one is, what do you think about like a good or bad? One of the ones where we can disagree. So
I'm not sure if it's a versus sort of situation, or we kind of
good idea, bad. Yeah, you're right, because it's not really a good idea, bad idea, but it's something that you gotta. Maybe it's gun stuff or alternate topic, perhaps, because it's definitely important. I was trying to think of what was the week where it was the redundant topic you were kind of saying that was going to be in the third segment usually?
Well, this Tuesday with the Second Amendment issue, and then gun advocate, or what was it? What do we call it? Gun advocacy segment.
Oh,
We haven't really officially named it that. I think the last time we were scheduling, we didn't like the Q&A. Nobody was asking us Q's to A.
Yep.
So we could put that back in because we want to clarify that the Q&A segment isn't like we're experts in everything and you can stump us and with like technical knowledge. It's really supposed to be a time when to maybe reflect and go back and look at past shows. And if someone had a specific question or like a general question, either on a topic that we were talking about, maybe didn't address every aspect of it, or something we talked about led you to a thought about something similar, and you wanted to bring that up in a one-on-one. Sending us an email is great, and we encourage you to do so, but sending an email doesn't necessarily give it a segment of the show where we address emails. We just don't do that. I guess we could, but I guess the Q&A
actually we do.
is supposed to be for that, so that if people had a question like last week you talked about blah 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 and what about this aspect, and then that would give us 20 minutes of the show each week to go back and cover subjects like
follow
that.
up on something.
Well, we do have a section where we address emails that have come in.
Right, but we don't give 20 minutes of the show
Right.
each week to dealing with those, because we only get them occasionally. So I guess that was the idea, is if we started to get more what do you call those, like almost there's a word
Feedback?
Yeah, but like just questions about the show itself specifically and the topics that we've already talked about. If we get more and more questions like that, then we'll open up a segment of the show to address those, so that they're not just always, oh, and in the last 5 minutes, let's real quick mention something, or worse, never address any of that stuff because we don't have time for it. So we'll
show feedback is what
but
that
that's
is.
where the Tuesday is kind of a mess, because we started out with leaving a segment open for guests, which we try to have guests on, but none of us have really the time to go out and schedule guests. It's easy to invite people, but then once they reply and they start talking about scheduling and times, we just don't have the facilities really to do that. So we thought it was kind of a waste to have that 20 minutes because we kept blowing through it. So I don't know what that is. So anyway, that's why we got rid of the Q&A. We got rid of the guest section. We replaced it with Q&A, and now we're thinking about replacing it with something that's less redundant than the Second Amendment topics. Harry's saying deal of the week from various websites. We do have a segment on Friday where we call it the Week in Review and Gun Deals, kind of both. And if there's people posting stuff in the Trading Post, we like to, if there's people that are posting stuff in the Trading Post, we like to relate that to everybody. And then anything that gets posted on the channel, on Gun Channel, is called Gun Deals, which is a place for what discounts and coupon codes and sales and specials and stuff. And we try to bring those up on Friday as well if anybody's posted them. Oh, Medax is saying do a drill of the week to improve, like a tip or a drill of the week to improve performance or accuracy. I think we actually talked about doing something like a target of the week or drill of the week or something like that.
We were, because we had sections that don't get used all the time.
I'm going to put that on our ideas page so that we can go back to it.
Okay.
And Tony said feedback or follow-up. Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for before. We wanted to have like that segment of the show to go do follow-up so we can sweep up things from last week or address things. Because with the nature of a show like this, somebody might listen to our show one day and go, oh, this is interesting, and then start listening to some older shows. So they listen to a show from 6 months ago and Bob said some crazy thing, like he'll say, and then they want to bring that up to clarify, like, is Bob like off his meds, or is that
is that ever really a question?
There's some people who might not understand Bob yet, and they'll think,
Hey,
is that man serious?
but that depending on the circumstances and the time that day of it was recorded, could be a
that's
possibility.
true.
I'm sorry, where were we at?
Well, I don't know if we're at anywhere. I think we were just sort of talking about Tuesday, and it just spun off into other things. I'm reading and talking at the same time now. So Harry found the site and subbed it. Thanks. Oh, that's another thing we should bring up. We did move the channel or the show over to its own channel on YouTube, Daily Gun Show at gmail.com, or Daily Gun Show on YouTube. I wish it could say just Daily Gun Show after YouTube, but they haven't given us that yet, so I'm not sure why that is. It might be because what I'm about to say. We need subs over there. I think right now, if I go over and click on the link, we have 263 subscribers. So that's neat. I'm just not familiar. You know, it's been a while since I had a channel with less than 1,000 subs. 1,000 subs is some sort of a waypoint or hurdle or something that you have to pass with YouTube to unlock things on your account. So we don't really make a point of it ever because we run the show mostly on gun channels, but it is running live off of YouTube. So we should probably encourage people, at least till we get to that 1,000 sub level, and kind of unlock some bonus points or some bonus levels so that we can, you know, encourage people to check it out. I think we have 1,000 people that casually come by and watch.
Yeah, because there's certain features of YouTube that we cannot use until we pierce that level. So.
And so what are we talking with the IG segment? We're talking about the hashtags and stuff, or are we talking about, we talked about
Well, we already got on the schedule, IG actual segment. It's section J on the schedule. It's literally there just waiting for us to decide if we want to do anything, whether it's break one or it's in the IG section. Like do we check it every day? Do we do it once a week?
Let's try doing it every day for a while, at least as often as we all remember to do it. And unless we already talked about
because you know what, that's one that I got to remember to do is post that on Daily Gun Show as well.
And that's something, as an example, like just through time, I've been the one that's kind of taken up checking the email before the show. Do we need somebody to do something similar over on the IG to try to get that rolling?
Well, I think that there's already a channel and everything, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what we'll do is I'm thinking with the IG segment is anybody that uses the hashtag Daily Gun Show, will or that like posts our pictures or post pictures of the swag they win or something like that, then
That's
well,
why everybody needs a muzzle and mic, dude. I'm telling
So
you.
if I guess somebody can just do a check before the show starts to see if there's something new that we want to bring up during the show.
during the show. But yeah, that's basically what we're talking about, is going over to Instagram, checking what's
Yep.
new on the hashtag Daily Gun Show, and then amplifying or relaying some of those photos that people take and tag the show with.
It'll
Those-
either be a very short section or it may be a very long section. We will see what kind of listeners we got out there if they feel like posting on Instagram about the Daily Gun Show. Hashtag Daily Gun Show.
Exactly.
Hey, just-
and that way, if it's a couple of pictures, it's awesome. And if it turns out to be a ton, we'll do like what Dan was saying and just filter them before the show and do the best of. But for now, I'm sure it'll just be whoever participates in it. And that way we can show some of the variety of what our listeners are doing over on the IG.
Z, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did you say that you would check that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do what I can.
Here's
Absolutely.
a quick one on the muzzle and the mic. Are we making decals of that yet?
I don't know, what, a decal, you mean?
Decal?
So
Oh,
Decal?
come
Whatever you
on.
guys call them.
See, and that right there is comedy gold, folks. You know,
And that's
I put
why we
this on the
can't
screen.
have women on the show.
here's the problem with the decals of these things. Yeah, I can cut them, no problem at all. But you see this part of the muzzle? It's going to take like 15 minutes of picking at it, and I just don't feel like doing that. So if you want to do it, Bob, I will cut out a chunk of them, and then you can take them over to the trick camper, and you basically have to sit there, like with a dental pick,
Yep.
pick out all these damn things. Now, sometimes if you get just the right tackiness of masking tape, you could potentially pull all those out with it, like just touching your finger with masking tape to just barely hit it. But because it's so intricate, I think it might be a little trick to figure that out. So that's the reason I haven't gone forward with it. Now, if we just make that black, it's a heck of a lot easier, and we could do it that way. But trying
or
to
just get the patch. Wait a minute. What's the problem with the patch?
No, man. I'm thinking for the back window. Back window of my truck.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. now. Yeah. You are actually talking about a decal. I gotcha.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Decal.
Well, could we go with instead of the white for a decal, translucent?
I guess I was trying to screen share and not screen sharing, but the spring retaining cap thing, whatever the hell they call that thing that keeps spring from flying out the front of a 1911, the knurling on the front of there, the checkering, is the part that is tedious and takes time to take the parts that are not supposed to be there out of there. That doesn't happen magically. You have to physically remove those, and there's at least 2, 4, 8, 10, 12, 15 of those little things you got to pick out of there with a dental pick for each patch or each decal that goes out. All I'm saying is it's just I wasn't thinking when we made the logo, and I made it way too detailed to be
If we would have gone with a high power, that would have saved a lot of problems.
Now,
Yeah, or I could just put a flat black circle down there. It'll look a little weird, I think, because it'll clash with the muzzle and it won't be so obvious. But or I'd make it white, I guess, just make it empty. But yeah, I never really. That's the reason I never did the decals, because it was just.
do you mean decals or do you mean patches?
We are talking about
You
stickers.
put on a truck or whatever.
Okay, because stickers don't require sewing.
Okay,
They're
we're
printed.
talking about decals, actually, not stickers. You're right. If we get stickers printed by someone who prints them, then we don't have anything to issue. We just send them out to people. That's a sticker, and it's made out of vinyl or something, and then you have to put on some kind of an overlay in order to keep it from fading in the sun immediately, because black and white will fade in the sun immediately to all white.
Yep.
So we're talking about a decal, which is a piece of vinyl which has the IR coating built into it. So it's made to be put on a vehicle with a 6 or 9 year life. And that is a thin piece of vinyl that's stuck onto a piece of paper. And then I take it through my cutter, which is an X-Acto knife on a plotter, and it cuts out the shape of our logo. And then you would put a piece of masking tape on that. You would peel the paper away, you'd stick it on your windshield or whatever, and then you'd peel that masking tape away, and the vinyl is left on your window. We're talking about a decal. And
Yeah.
in order to make that happen, because of our logo, it's an intricate thing that would take maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes per decal, depending on how fast you were going and how big the decal was, and that just takes time. So to make 100 of those might take however many minutes that is, hours and hours and hours. So it's just tedious work.
Clearly, I know nothing about the type of decals that you're referring to, but isn't it ink on vinyl?
No. No, if I had a $30,000, I could buy a machine that can print decals. But no, we're talking about a vinyl cutter, a sheet of vinyl on a piece of paper, and then you run it through this machine with an X-Acto blade on a plotter, and it cuts out.
You're layering the vinyl.
No, you're actually removing. It's almost like it's in reverse.
Yeah, like you're cutting. You have a sheet of vinyl. You cut out a design, and then you peel away the pieces you don't want. You leave behind the pieces that create
Okay.
the design, the final design. So
Now I understand why it's a pain in the ass.
It's just
Yes.
all now, and I do them myself, so it's not like I send those out to anybody. We could send them out to somebody who does it for a living. They probably have fancy ways of doing that quickly. I'm not claiming to be good at it. I just know the way I know how to do it. But anyway, that was the answer to Bob, is why we haven't made it into a decal, is only because of that. What do they call that part that retains the spring on a 1911? I should feel like I should know that.
It's a retainer plug.
Is that what it is? But anyway, because of the knurling on the design there, I thought it
That's
was
not
neat.
a bushing?
It's also
Bushing would be the thing that goes around, right?
The only reason I remember is that's the part that shot out twice for my Colt Officer's 45.
Really?
There's a little steel nub that holds it in place, would wear down over time due to recoil, and it wore off the nub until it shot out right out of the front of the gun, and I launched my spring with it downrange.
No kidding. How many rounds?
Probably over 100, but less than 200.
What?
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 Well, that's why I eventually ended up selling it, because it was just because it happened twice, both with the
Was
original
it used when you got it?
plug. What?
Was it used when you got it?
No, I bought it brand new.
So you're
was
saying a
19
Colt?
This is 1986. I bought Colt.
Okay, I was
Officers
alive then. So
45,
I know what's going on.
brand new, out of the shop. In the first 200 rounds, shot the retaining plug downrange. Spring had, you're not allowed to go down there, so I had to order a new plug. Besides, the little nub was worn off because I was able to get it a couple days later, and the little.
Are you saying when you were disassembling it or while you were shooting it?
It must have happened while I was shooting, because I did get it back a couple days later from one of the employees that worked there. Because I thought I could just put it back in until I got it back and looked at it, and I saw that additional piece of metal that sits in a little notch had literally been worn right off.
Huh. Oh,
In less than 200 rounds. That means something's wrong.
so in other words, it didn't hold the bushing in place.
Correct.
So the bushing was able to spin and let it fly out completely.
Well, the model I had was a bushingless model. There
Oh,
was no bushing.
I don't know that one. And that's from Colt, you said?
Yeah. And I bought a replacement part from Colt, and it did the exact same thing. So I bought a third one and then sold it.
Makes me want a Colt CZ97 BD then.
But again,
With
this
them
was,
Accu bushings on it.
Makes me glad I got my high power. Doesn't have one of them.
but it all goes to show is, before we didn't have carry back, back in that day in Illinois. But regardless, even for home defense, I will not rely on a gun I cannot trust, regardless of what brand is stamped on it. It has to prove
No
itself
kidding.
to me.
That dude, I'd have lost my mind because Colt wasn't cheap back then anyway.
Oh no,
And to burn out and to have that kind of failure within 200 rounds. No, it happens. Let's be real. I mean, a number is a number. Things happen in the world. So, I mean, do you think that is the majority of Colt firearms, or do you think that maybe that was just yours and a few others over the years, or do you think they actually have a issue, perhaps?
Well, I had heard back at that time. Of course, back we didn't have the internet, but so we had a much slower system in place. It's very difficult for users to try to,
Tanner, did you just say it was a simpler time? Did you just go there?
It was a simpler, slower time in place.
Yeah. But I had found out after I had sold the gun that was an issue with other owners as well, but only on that particular model, the officer size, which today we call it a concealed carry size.
Now, Tony has a good idea on the gun channel side, doing a grab bag segment where we deal with stuff that doesn't fall into the normal areas.
But isn't that all gun topics?
Yeah, that's gun topics though. Like a grab bag, I guess I was thinking more like
It could be anything.
No.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, because we're looking for something on Tuesday, and
Like best cat box litter.
What?
I was just making kind of a joke, but do you mean like non-gun stuff?
Well, I mean, the alternative gun topics is like what the hell? Yeah, we have things like guns from Switzerland, traveling with guns, alternative means like on a motorcycle, free guns for each American, like in Israel, about regional shooting sports and how to. The big regional shoots and how to prepare and going to those big regional shoots, being on gun owners' lists. So it's sort of a grab bag of gun-related topics, I guess. I think what I'm saying for the grab bag segment, potentially on a Tuesday, to replace the Q&A segment would be grab bag just topics. So maybe Second Amendment issues, maybe Gun Channels University. Maybe
It's like that Wheel of Fortune wheel.
Okay.
just so in other words,
Dude.
a grab bag time. So whatever's hot that week, whatever we needed more time for, maybe something like that. People
Bring back
want
the
to
wheel.
with random stuff that isn't on the schedule, but still want to get our input on it or something.
Sudden death segment. Bring back the wheel. Sudden death.
Call it grab bag and then wheel of death or wheel.
Yes.
I guess.
Dude,
if,
right there, because then, dude, that demands all of everybody that is either in the audience and maybe a little bit of the panelists.
Now, is this basically the various topics we touch or categories we touch upon each week, as far as the three main sections we give 20 minutes to?
If we use the old Gun Channels wheel of topics, it's going to be just the old lobby topics or whatever.
Well, it won't take nothing to change those. Well, I shouldn't say it won't take nothing. I
I
think
can't
that's,
remember where that account was, but I'm assuming it's still out there. If that website still exists that had like this Wheel of Fortune looking thing, you could type whatever topics you wanted on the wheel, as many as you wanted. We used to use that in the lobby when the conversation died down. Somebody would click the wheel of topics to get the conversation going again. So we just had a bunch of stuff in there with like, I don't know, I think everybody that was in the lobby one night just threw out ideas and we stuck them in the wheel. So it's just a bunch of gun topics, I
Man.
guess.
or the answer ambush should be the wheel of death.
I do remember the wheel.
So I guess, like I say, I'd have to go figure out. There was some website that did that. I'd have to go figure out where that website is because we haven't had it on the site in a while. I don't think. Maybe it is still in the lobby somewhere.
Well, I mean, we could almost do the same thing with like just a random number generator and just literally, I mean, you could do the same thing. Just production value would be different.
Well, yeah, you go to random.org and put in, if we have 16 topics, you put in the numbers 1 through 16 and hit random.
Yeah.
That's
Like
what-
literal some no whammies stop. There's all kinds of stuff. That'd be pretty tough.
So we got a topic from Cycle over on Gun Channels, best breakdown survival guns for camping. I like that one, but what topic or which segment do we put that one into?
Gun stuff.
Yeah,
It'll fit
gun
gun
tech. Gun tech.
Works for gun tech too. Let me look at what do we need more of. I might put it under gun tech. I think it does sound like gun tech more.
Okay.
I was just thinking, one section we don't have, and not necessarily that it needs a section, is an outdoor category.
Well, that
Outdoor
can actually. Well, but that's the thing. Outdoor guns could actually be. You could do it to many, several categories. Outdoor stuff, whether it's a tactical quiz, the gun business, something specifically for outdoorsmen. Gun stuff could be, whether it's effective hunting gear.
I hate to throw this out there, but it just came to my mind. If I don't, I'll lose the thought. Have we ever covered indoor home self-defense?
In what way?
Not specifically.
Like either I've never taken a class that addresses home self-defense. Somebody comes in, through the back door, the front door, whatever. Maybe they come through both.
Well, that sounds training for sure.
So, well,
I'm not sure whether we do it from the training angle, whether we. Or
I hate to
what.
say good idea, bad idea, because I don't think that it sounds like a bad idea.
yeah, I don't think you'll anybody disagreeing with it being a good idea. But let's throw that out there to the listeners and see how they can spin that into something.
Yeah.
We did get another good one. Where did I stick it? From Cycle also, various gun-related insurances, carry insurance, liability. That's a good one. I think we maybe touched on topics before, but we'll talk about it just again specifically coming up in another on the CCW topic. That's a good one.
Absolutely, and I don't know when all the things turn over. It probably changes at different times, but that would definitely be a good one.
Yeah, in fact, I just paid my one for Armed Citizens Defense League. I think that's the name of it. It's an annual. Trying to remember how much it was. Can't remember.
Like I think it was like $80.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Just got my email.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for jumping in, Rick. So anybody that's listening who is on Patreon, there's a link out there on the Patreon site, or like Dan was saying, you can have it probably automatically sends it to you in an email, so you can check your emails for the link to jump right in. So I don't know, like I say, let's let the listeners stew on that one, and they're pretty good at rewording it and figuring out a good place to stick it as a schedule. So we had another one come in from Cycle, clearing versus holding up. The problem when we have verses and the good idea, bad idea is it's not like this or that. I guess that is this or that. So do you want to clear your house or do you want to hold up in a room? I guess that would be the good idea, bad idea.
Well,
Yeah.
or do we need to change this or that? I mean, it's almost, I don't know.
Well, I mean, good idea, bad idea could be one or the other.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I guess let me go through the ones we have for March, just to give people an idea of what we've got going for good idea, bad ideas. We got MacGyver this week, I guess this month, next week or whatever. Then we have scopes versus iron sights, or scopes over iron sights would be the good idea, bad idea there. Ball ammo for carry is the next one, and then lights fixed to guns, and then we have body armor. Then we have backup gun on leg. Then we have gun posters or patch panels in your cubicle at work. And then we have publicizing your gun hobby. Actually, we'll probably move that one because it's almost the same as the week before. Then we got bragging about your firearms. We got traveling internationally with guns. Good idea, bad idea. Firearms on display.
Wait, are those two separate subjects? The traveling and bragging, or?
Yeah. So I'm going to stick it into this one where I moved that one because they were so similar, and we'll say in one room. That's definitely two sides of strategy: going around and looking for bad guys, or sitting in one spot and letting the bad guy come to you, or leave without you even having to deal with them.
Yeah, that's a good one. We could talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, that should be an easy 20.
We're not getting any topic ideas over from the YouTube side, so let's go. Come on. You already.
I put a couple in the side chat. Oh, maybe you saw them already.
You mean the one that's congratulating you on your great idea? Okay, thanks. And then tips or drill.
Training timeline.
Oh, right. Well, we had talked about when we did a bit of a strategy session last week, off air, I guess, with us. We talked about doing something like a drill of the week or a target of the week. So I think that's just up to us to figure out where to stick it in the schedule so that we remember to do it every week, or what day to do it. But I think that's a great idea. We should definitely be doing that. There's way more than 52 drills out there that people could use at the range, even at an NRA range with a box of ammo. So it's I've always thought that doing drills is an effective way to keep your skills up and be consistent, I guess, because you're only you're buying a box of ammo for that purpose, and it gets you some trigger time. I should say effective trigger time, so you're not just out there playing. Nothing wrong with out there playing, but at least that way you can spend at least one box of ammo a week keeping your skills up.
Boy, that'd be nice. One box a week. That'd be fantastic.
And that really got a lot of traction after 2012 in regards to how to get the maximum efficiency for your dollar with the limited amount of ammo that you were able to have or find. So whether it's somebody that may not necessarily be able to buy multiple boxes for a range session, that simply with one box, more than one way, to get as much covered as they can with as much repetitive actions.
Well, and plus, it's different levels of convenience for people on where they live. If they have certain types of ranges available to them, or not even a range, just a place that literally they can go shoot in the open or stuff like that. I mean, there's different levels of how you can practice for those targets or those skills as well.
Right. And how to practice at home for things they won't let you do at the range, like draw with snap caps. Practice with garments, practice with the light jacket if you happen to live in an area that you happen to wear jackets.
Well, I'm going to say let's take out Friday. So we're going to need alternative gun topics and gun biz topics. And that way we're not giving people so many topic ideas that, it's difficult. So we need some gun biz. We need at least 3 gun biz ones, it looks like. And we need, well, actually we got alt good to go. So all we need is gun bizes, and that'll tie up
State
Friday.
the business of targets.
Just a FYI, we had a lot of target stuff, so I don't want it to get.
Are you targeted out?
No, I just didn't want it to get all heavy with targets in 1 week or something, but it's not. We're good to go. So yeah, if we want to do targets, target.
I was thinking of one of the gun biz, because the different types of targets that have come out over the years, they're gonna. I mean, whether we're talking actual like piece of fruit back in the day, or all the way up through into now, where it's now sometimes like laser light or something like that.
I put target manufacturers. Well, I almost put target
There you go.
manufacturers in there.
Well, didn't we have gun manufacturers of the month or something like that? Wasn't that a subject? But that's not the same thing as a target manufacturer or target maker.
Correct. Somebody say something?
No, just me.
Have we ever discussed, like, you touched on it a little bit with what you just mentioned, but gun manufacturers history, where we literally, like, whether it be weekly or monthly, whatever, but we talk about Winchester, and we talk about the history of Winchester, or we talk about Remington.
I thought we did change a subject to that at one point, or was it just a 20-minute segment that did that in the past? I'm trying to think.
We just cover one company.
Yeah,
Big
we
or
used to
small, doesn't matter.
have a gun history segment, but which
yeah, we
was
turn that into gun stuff because nobody liked to listen to the history, I guess.
yeah.
I'm wondering if we do gun manufacturers and it's kind of gun business that way, but it also is history.
Well, so we got
All right, how about that? So one of the gun businesses during the month is a history of a manufacturer.
Yeah, so the history of which one would be our first one then?
I'm trying to look for what day you're on here.
The 21st of
Why don't,
Okay.
as far as manufacturers, why don't we go at least until we get to that point, try to go with, if you listeners have a handful or multiple handfuls of what you would like to see, email us what you would like to see as far as the history of gun companies. What would you like to see first, second, third, fourth?
All right, well, I'm going to pick Smith & Wesson then, since nobody's picking one, since we have to start with something.
All right. Yeah. Well, then I was just going to say, I was going to actually pressure out the audience for a second to spit out a manufacturer right now. Not in an email. I'm saying this is the joy of being live. Let's make it a competition. First one right now to name a gun manufacturer that's listening to the show right now. Daily Gun Show. Let's see it. Audience participation.
Watch the
One man,
comments on
one
YouTube
vote.
right now.
FN. There it is.
FN. Ugh.
Yep.
Right.
History of Fabrique Nationale. The last place John Moses Browning, I think, worked with.
Or contracted with.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting history. Who says they don't win? Who says they don't win?
Smith &
Cycle
Wesson.
just won that.
Smith & Wesson came up on the YouTube side.
All right, maybe they can be the second one then. At the middle of what would that be? May already?
Remington is the next one from Cave Dave.
Oh, we can't give them all away right now. Hold
Well, no,
on.
I'm just throwing. I just want to throw a few out there.
Well, it's only once a month, so you just did the next 3 months.
Well, that's true.
fine.
But
That's what it's all about.
with as many,
Yep, that's true. That's true.
with as many gun manufacturers as there are out there, I think we have probably at least 50 or close to it, if not way more.
Well, then that means that the segment gets to run on for a couple of years. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we're not
Okay.
talking about once a week, Dan. We're talking about once a month. So we only need.
Yeah, only once a month.
So yeah, that's definitely good. So then, what was the next one after FN though?
Smith & Wesson.
Smith & Wesson.
I don't have dates all the way down to here though. Oh, I already
Sure.
Wesson. There was a third one though.
Okay. Third one's Remington.
Remington.
Yeah.
Remington here, and we'll move it if we have to.
You know, I don't know why I'm not surprised, but I thought Colt would have come up in there, but it didn't. But it's viewer choice.
Well, and
I'm not here for me.
you know, that might be the way to do it, is do the major firearms manufacturers, like the big ones.
Well, you know what? We're
First
gonna
2
have technically we're gonna have another scheduling session next month on the second Saturday or whatever. So maybe we could give away. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
It's got to mean something, man. Everybody just doesn't want a participation trophy these days. They want to win. It's good to be a winner.
That's right. We do not give you participation trophies. That is just not the way we roll. And if you don't like
Yeah,
it,
but we will. If you do win, we will send you a patch.
yes, but just for participating, you don't get
Well, that's true. That's true because that's usually the tactical pop quiz or the tactical quiz of the week. It is incentive based, but that's okay.
So Tony brings up a good point on the YouTube side, as rather, or as an alternative to Patreon, having people sponsor the show. We were thinking about having sponsors for the segments. We were kind of throwing that around, so like the such and such segment brought to you by type of thing. So I guess we have been thinking about that. So thanks for the bringing that up, Tony.
That's
We
cool.
don't have any. We don't have any corporate badges yet. So then, okay. So, but we still need to fill in other gun biz.
No,
the
we're good.
schedule. We had the history, right?
Hold on. I'm trying to scroll down again.
Because gun biz is every
Okay,
week.
only one more gun biz. That's it.
Okay, one more gun biz.
Yep.
Let's see.
Well,
We're-
gun company?
We're going to be needing some entertainment.
What's that again, Rick?
No.
You say we're another gun company?
No, we're looking for just something else, gun-related, gun business.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're going to need a gun stuff, a couple of those. We're going to need a couple of Second Amendment issues.
Well,
That's all we need. 2 gun stuffs and
What do you
Now-
think about the? Is there a real future for binary triggers?
is that
That's not bad an idea. Because yeah, those are kind of funky.
Or is it merely a flash in the pan sort of a thing?
well, then that's more of a good idea, bad idea, right? Sorta.
Well, no, because we're talking whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, but whether there's really a future for it.
How does that literally not fall under the same thing?
Because I said so.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, well, if you had machine guns, you wouldn't need it anymore.
Oh, there'll always be a want.
I don't know why.
I want my laser gun, my blaster.
Yeah, directed energy weapons, that's something.
Yeah, Bob, you're gonna need to pass a universal background check. Partner, you're in Canada.
all right. Sorry, I had to deal with old dog issues. So did we have some new ideas come in?
No, we bantered aimlessly for about 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, good. So we need a couple of gun stuffs and one more gun biz.
So where was the binary trigger fall? In the gun stuff?
We can, sure. Could be in gun tech too. Shove it down a bit into gun tech. Let me make sure we don't have any gun techs open. Well, we can throw it into the next month. Gun tech. What was it specifically, or just binary triggers?
Well, it was, our binary triggers in regards, do they have a future in the gun business, or is it merely a flash? And by that, I just mean a fad.
I guess that's good. Yeah, that's still gun tech, yeah.
Yeah, I threw it under gun tech for the next month. May, I guess. May Day. It'll be a May Day gun tech.
Oh, nice. That's perfect.
Yeah, if Hugh goes away, it'll go away. So I agree with you completely. It's not like it's answering a question. It's just, a thing that's created by policy, but we'll talk about that.
So how often is the state stuff for the Second Amendment? Or did that just replace the Second Amendment?
We don't have, we need a couple of Second Amendment segments, I guess, yeah.
So then I guess that we just need to put the states in then, correct? Is that the way that went?
Well, right now we have the states as also.
Okay.
So right now for April, we've got Guns at Home as a Second Amendment segment. We've got, I guess we don't have any Second Amendment segments. Yeah, we just have states in there right now.
Right.
Second Amendment is down there in Florida, where that Republican House senator said no more pro-gun bills going through the House this year. She's stopping them all.
Well, then we definitely address that when we do the Florida one for sure. Probably that would almost want to move Florida up a little bit if possible.
Well, we're doing Florida on the 11th, so.
Oh, perfect. No, that's awesome.
Should we try to get Sean on?
Man, he's a busy man, but maybe we could, I don't know. It'd be nice if we could.
So
Yes,
him and or Eric just to do a segment on the Florida. Actually, we ought to talk to him about that anyway.
Is South Carolina anywhere in the next 2 months?
Yeah, we're doing South Carolina when somebody's got time to do it, if I remember.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Never mind.
Hold on. We got, what's today?
Today is the 11th.
March 11th.
Yes.
Freaking months in this calendar. So now this week we'll be talking about Texas. Next week we'll be talking about Maryland. Week after that is Vermont, and then Oregon. So none of those we have anybody on deck for. So we could move any of those, I think, to South Carolina.
Gotcha.
I don't know if we call South Carolina good or bad. So Maryland is bad, kind of. Texas is good, kind of. Neither one of them are all good or all bad either, though. So I think we could move either one of them. Really, we'll just find out when he wants to do it. We'll just swap out either one of those, I guess, the next couple of weeks. So we were talking because Night Strike offered to come on and talk with when we're talking about South Carolina. So we're going to just move one of these states, unless somebody out there is listening wants to be a representative. We're talking about Texas or Maryland. Those are the two that we're probably going to move to get Night Strike on. So anyway, give us some input. Otherwise, we'll just kind of do that.
And what about, could we get Matt
Texas
for 5 minutes?
Like I even know about laws.
3 minutes? 2 minutes?
No, we might.
Second?
I forget what day he said is his day off, but
And we'll move our schedule to fit his schedule because we'll just swap it out or whatever. But that's what something like that's what needs to happen
We got an
for
idea
Texas,
here
don't you
from
think?
Meat Axe on the evolution of firearm technology.
yeah, I put that one into the gun tech in May. That's the next slide.
Oh,
okay. Yep.
And
There you go.
Michael is saying recent court decision that ARs are not covered by the Second Amendment. I think that's definitely a good Second Amendment topic. I'm going to throw that into the next available one.
Right, and that was what the Fourth Circuit Court ruling on the Maryland legality or illegality of I don't want to say it, man, of your semi-automatic rifle.
All right, so we still need a couple of Second Amendment issues and one gun stuff and one gun biz, and then we've wrapped up the month of April.
Nice.
Dragon's Breath.
Under
Yeah.
gun stuff?
Well, what I'm wondering is other than entertainment, what is its place? And I don't have the answer to that. I'm just,
Gun stuff and incendiary rounds, G.
yeah.
What do you say about that? We could
Yeah,
do 20
I-
minutes on incendiary rounds, no problem. Don't you think?
I don't know how to spell it, but it's in there.
Dragon.
No, the incendiary.
Oh,
It's
just
something.
phonetical is good.
And then still need another gun stuff, a gun biz, and a couple of Second Amendment issues.
Man, I thought that would have finished gun stuff.
No, that's a pretty
We
that
need one
topic
more.
can either go really quick or that topic can go on real long. And because you start crossing over and how many different rounds are incendiary rounds and what are they?
Right.
Yeah, that could be a good segment.
So Cycle is also saying loader for fixed mag ARs. I think is what I meant there. I think that's worth bringing up. I'm going to put that under gun tech, I think, though, because gun stuff used to be history. I don't know. I guess not specifically that one, but maybe alternative means of loading.
That's gun tech.
That is really isn't.
Because it's like when we did the gun tech and it was the dude from California who had the one little piece that he machined and was going to be charging everybody $10 which was going to allow for the improvised deployment of your rounds into your magazine.
So we did take the topic, but yeah, we've stuck it under gun tech, which is more appropriate. So appreciate it, but we still need some more gun stuffs.
Oh, wait a minute. There you go. What about the easiest 1, 2, 3?
And they're not
Gunsmiths effects.
they're not mechanisms to avoid bans. They're mechanisms to comply with infringing laws. Like wording.
But under the gun business. And I guess what I was going was gunsmiths through, like, Penn Foster or whatever. How about that? At-home gunsmithing courses or something.
Oh.
Under gun business.
Versus traditional gunsmithing schools.
Well, just all gunsmithing schools, but yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Because then each is a part. Gunsmithing training. No, then it's no, the state of, because we'll be able to find a few links.
I wish I could remember the name of it. But there was a relative, not brand new, but in the past year or two, there was one that the guys did. In fact, I think Artisan Tony had purchased a possible course from them to do. It was online, but they sell you, I think send you materials as well as you buy materials.
Well, don't give it away, Nano. Don't give it away for free, man.
Well, no, I'm just trying to make sure that that there's some new innovative things other than just home it with a book and going to school with machines. SDI is the name of the company.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Pretty much all
Thanks,
gun
Tony.
schools you're gonna have to have hands-on. I don't know of any except for maybe AGI just gave you videos, but even then you can order their complete course and get all their tools and stuff. But most of them back in the day, even the ones on VHS and then the ones before that were just books. Correspondence courses, they would usually send you a set of stuff. That's how that's for any kind of machine.
Like class project style, yeah.
Yeah, like they send you what you need because there's no point in learning something you can't do. But anyway, you would do that if you went to learn how to use a lathe. They would send you stuff too.
I just want to check and welcome Mr. Stell to the group. Did I say it properly? Stell, not Steele.
You did, sir.
Right on.
Okay. Just goes to show I pay attention to those emails and I try to remember things like that.
Geez, that's a first for you, Dano. Pronounce somebody's name right.
No, not this.
Well, only after being corrected.
Just bugging you, bud.
But that's okay. I'm good with that.
So we still got one more gun stuff?
We still have one more gun stuff. Yep.
All right, one more gun stuff.
And a couple of Second Amendment issues. One Second Amendment issue. We still have one Second Amendment issue and one gun stuff.
Like gun stuff, roadside conveniences, like at that place that Chris drove by. You know, when you're out on the road, then all of a sudden there's a place you can actually pick up some ammo.
Okay. Alternative impromptu self-defense tools, and by that, non-guns.
Well, I guess that goes under gun stuff because they're not guns.
You find yourself in a situation for whatever reason you don't have your gun on you.
You know what?
It's
I'm going
inaccessible.
to CCW because it is a thing, but gun stuff.
Oh yeah, CCW. There you go.
Gun stuff.
How about whether the Second Amendment is a viable defense for someone who has to defend themselves when they're actually from another country but legally allowed to own firearms in the U.S.?
Oh my
That's
god.
definitely a Second Amendment issue.
An international policy with that one, Bob.
Does the Second Amendment work for foreigners?
When
You're
do you receive the Second Amendment? When you're a citizen?
Well, and what's interesting is there are some rights that legal aliens have and some that they don't. And I'm not sure what agency
correct term.
of the government determines that.
The correct term for Bob is immigrant.
And on that note, I actually do have to go. I'll catch y'all later. I might be back in time. We'll see.
Okay.
Aloha.
Have a good one, Z.
Yeah.
Well, actually, everybody's got to jump out of here pretty soon, so I think we'll wrap it up sooner than later. Bob has to check out as well, and we don't want to make this thing run all day. Let's see. Tony has another one for Second Amendment. Will the election of Trump's reduce activism due to complacency? That's an excellent one. I love that one. So yes, unfortunately, I think we're seeing that already, but
Yeah.
let's not impose our perceptions on the world. So hopefully it's not that way, but
That's definitely worth putting somewhere in the schedule.
yeah. I guess we filled up Second Amendment issues, so it'll be the first one in May. But yeah, thanks, Tony. That's a good one.
Yep.
And that might give us a little time too, since that'll give us another month to look at it. Like I say, right now it's looking a little less appealing than it could, but I don't want to.
Did you know Congress only works 8 days in April?
Oh, they probably don't do anything. Now, when you say they only work 8 days, do you mean only work in DC on the floor for 8 days?
Yes. Then
So
they
let's
go
not
home.
forget that those people are required to talk to their constituents, so they have staffs running 24/7 to do that. They have to be at home to do the work that they do. They're there to represent the states they live in, so they have to travel and go to those states for some amount of time. I don't want them to only live in DC. I don't want them to never go to DC. So I hear you, and that seems frustrating, but I'm not going to suggest that that's a system that doesn't work. It works pretty damn good. It might not be perfect, but those people need to be at their states. And when that's easy, when you live in DC or Virginia or whatever, New Hampshire, but if you're out here, that's some, effort to get back and forth to DC, depending on what they've got going on in their states and how active a representative they are. I don't want to suggest that they're lazy just because they're only doing that portion of their job for 8 days. And that's at a time when all the bills and stuff have gone through and basically DC has died down. It's not federal. It's not active federal time, is it?
As well as if there's anything truly important going on, both the president and I believe the Speaker of the House as well as the Leader of the Senate can call them back into session if needed. As an example, in 4 days, we will hit the maximum debt limit that we have. And they will have to do something, otherwise there'll be we'll go back into that thing that we had a couple of years ago with agencies going on temporary shutdown.
I'm not trying to justify nothing. I just want to make sure that we don't just persecute.
Well, no, I'm just saying that that's an example of the sort of thing that if they're not there, they can be called back for that, or for other issues of great importance. And so,
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. It's just that, I'm getting we got all these pro-gun things and nothing's getting done.
Well, no, but we need to understand the system, though. The system is that we put things through at the beginning of the year, and then the committees do their thing with around the other stuff they're tasked to do, and then they come back and vote on them again. So that's just the normal pace of government. One of the things as activists that we can, I've at least experienced this as an activist. The more I learn about the operation of the federal or the state bureaucrats, in other words, when they do things, it may not be easier your perception of it when they sit around not doing anything. But when you understand that there are times a year when they do stuff, there are times a year when bills go through, just like seasons or whatever, then you don't get frustrated that there's no lemons when it's not, when they're not ripe. So when they're doing their thing, I expect them to do their thing. But when they're not, then get the hell home and do what you're supposed to be doing at home. I don't mind when they're not doing stuff at this summertime. This is when they're supposed to be.
I have a good example. When they are home, something that they're supposed to be doing, but it may not seem like work to those of us, is they're supposed to be manning their local offices there for the citizenry to make appointments, stop by, and have a discussion with. And yet that's not being in DC voting. That's going to your home office and being available for the citizens to talk to. You can't. There's no point in having a local office if you're never going to be there.
And I think as activists, we need to remember that too, because now is the time when they should be, like they were saying, at their places, and we should be able to be most effective if we want to schedule what do they call that? Like not a march, but bring a bunch of people up and to their office or whatever, schedule an appointment with them, let them know that the Second Amendment's important, and here's the things that we expect you to do now that we've got the Trump presidency. What do you stand on this? I want to let people know publicly where you stand on these issues, so there's no concern. Can you come on my podcast, my YouTube channel? Can you come on my Facebook and let me ask you a few questions so that everyone knows where you stand with the second? This is a time when we don't have to go to DC. We can go to their offices, depending on if it's a Senate or a House. That might, the House might be real close to you. You might be able to literally go to their office down the street. Senate, like me, I think I probably have to go up to Phoenix for that. But this is an opportunity for us as activists to put the rubber on the ground and show with our footsteps and our presence how important these matters are to us. And again, we're living in a time when we don't have to compromise like we used to, at least for the next couple of years, at least not like we used to. There'll still be some compromise, but nowhere near what we used to have to do. So now's the time to get back some of that fucking cake. If they're not going to be there telling us we can't eat any cake, now's the time to get as much of that cake back as we possibly can, because we know we're going to have to fight for it again. And the best way, I think, to fight for it, just like the assault weapons ban, after it happened and it went away, you let them have a little lead, and then you let them prove that it doesn't do anything, and you take that lead back. And taking back as much as we can now be the best thing we can do to ensure a future with the second. Anyway, preaching to the choir. I think with that, though, we're not seeing much on the either side. Maybe it's just because we're sitting here
yapping.
But yeah.
It's a good opportunity to thank to those of which we are here today for, and that's our Patreon supporters.
Yep, we got a couple of you guys jump in. Chris, Rick, thanks for jumping in. We do appreciate it. As the months go by and we do these planning things on the second Saturday of the month, more consistently, then people know this is the time to get in and get your ideas mainlined into the show segments. We continue to adapt and develop the show with the input from our listeners and viewers, and this is an opportunity to not have a schedule that we're working around. This is literally a time to just BS and hang out with y'all, and we all look forward to it, and we appreciate the people that show up. We almost have the entire live viewership that we would have on a weekday. So we do appreciate everybody's taking the time out of a Saturday. It's not always easy to get away from all the honey-do lists and whatnot you might have to do. So hopefully it made that time enjoyable for you, if you're up on a roof or cleaning out gutters or whatever you might be doing today. Hopefully this passed the time. And I don't know, anything else from you guys before we head out?
I'm good. Like I said, I just wanted to thank both the couple of guys that were able to show up today, as well as those people that support us that weren't necessarily here today. I want to thank you for your support, and hopefully things will continue to go onward and upward.
Yeah.
We're giving away We're having a tactical quiz on a Saturday? I guess we are.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody thought, oh, I'm going to just check out of here. They're winding down, so I'm leaving. And all y'all that didn't do that are eligible for this tactical quiz that's happening right now. Do we have any questions queued up at all, by any chance?
Oh, you're okay. Just a moment.
Don't need one. We don't need one. Let's do this instead. This will be listener retention type of end of the week, non-scheduled tactical quiz. The first person to tell us, either on the Gun Channel side or the YouTube side, we'll be watching both. The first one that can tell us what our, I guess I have to go to the bottom of the list. What was our alternative gun topic of the week this week? If the first one to remember or to go back and search for it, to tell us our alternative gun topic of the week this week, for whatever this was, March 3rd, I guess, you will win the tactical pop quiz.
Okay. I got an eye on YouTube.
Sorry, it was actually Friday of the week after. I'm not good at looking at the old schedule. So it's actually from the 3rd. First one. Red Dawn is not the answer. Browning High Power is not the answer because Bob left. He would probably.
Hell, I don't remember is not the answer. Tony's trying to get Smeggy to cheat with him.
See?
AK-47 from Robbie?
Nope. This was the alternative gun topic from Friday, March 3rd.
Tony says gays in the military?
Nope, we haven't ever done that one. Did you, when you were in, was there gays? When I was in, I had to sign that there was no gays. You had to sign a thing that said you weren't a gay.
Same here.
It was, and then they later on they did the don't tell something or not.
What if Red Dawn really happened? Whether SBR.
It was what if Red Dawn didn't happen? Or no, it wasn't. It was not. Nope. Sorry, it was not that.
Yeah. Don't need a lot of guns.
Unprecedented no winners. You don't need a lot of guns. Pink wins it. Pink wins it.
Pink Panther won it. Woohoo! Congratulations, Pink. You are today's tactical hotshot of the day. Congratulations.
You know where to go? I will grab the link for you anyway, so that whenever we do one of these, for anybody that might be listening who doesn't realize what we're doing there, we have these little pop quizzes once in a while that pop up randomly, and the winners can head over to our website. I'm about to drop the link out there. We have a page over on dailygunshow.com that has a picture of a patch panel. Those are patches that we have made here in Tucson ourselves. Some of them are our designs that we have made for us. Some are donated to us from people that want to participate in this project. And then some we just bought at gun shows in the past. So whenever we get a winner like that from one of the quizzes, we send them over to the page. They can look at the patch panel. We try to update it as often as possible or as needed. You know, if stuff gets taken down that's, we have to replace it or something, we take a new picture. And then down below here, you can fill out where to send it. Your first choice, second choice if you want, and a third choice, although we've only had to pick or go to somebody's second choice maybe a couple of times, never had to go to a third choice yet. So we have enough selection up there and quantities of them that for the most part, if you see something up there, it's yours. And it's a way that we can say thanks for the people that listen to us live. And every once in a while, we do these quizzes and stuff via email so that the people that listen to us on podcast or whatever can participate as well. But we really do appreciate the participation in the show. This is new media. It doesn't mean we're doing the same old crap that they've been doing since newspapers and radio and television and just putting it on the internet. A lot of people think that's great. And, that is kind of nice. But this is interactive. We have the ability to get feedback immediately from you. And even better, it's not only immediate feedback. You can also email us later. So you can be listening to a show a year ago, literally a year ago. Email us on something there. You can contact us through the social media platforms that are out there. And that truly is the new media, the ability for the audience and the show to work together at creating some content that hopefully is more effective and more entertaining than any of the other stuff that's just lectured to you or told to you with almost no means of interactive activity. So we do appreciate very much the people who listen to us live, and we'll continue to keep doing this.
And before we end the show, I just want to let everybody know if you're interested in chatting, right after we end this, Mr. Pawnery has a lobby going over at gunchannels.com. Check that out. The link is posted over there for you to join and or listen to. With that, thank you very much.
Yep, and for people that don't understand what we're talking about there, I imagine most people understand what we're talking about, but a lobby is a room like the one that we're in right now, a Google Hangout that can hold up to 10 people. And Gun Channels is the place we built. It's a community focused on firearms. People that want to just chat will create one of these rooms on their YouTube account. They'll take the code to embed this show over to Gun Channels and post it there. So now they'll have this same kind of concept as we've got going here, a live chat over on YouTube, except over on Gun Channels. And then they put the link out to join this room to anybody who's on Gun Channels. And then that way the room will fill sometimes to 10 people, sometimes 3 or 4 or 7 or 3 or whatever. And people will come and go as they have time in the day. And the conversations will change as the group comes and goes. So it's a pretty fun time, like a radio show, except instead of just screaming at the thing at the radio, you can jump in and participate in the conversation. Or unlike a radio or TV where all you can do is yell at it, if you don't have the ability or interest to jump in and chat live, you can type stuff in and point the direction of the show, reply to some questions that are coming up, post your concerns, and keep the be part of the conversation there. And no cost at all to join, and nobody's getting paid for anything over there really. It's the membership, the people who participate in keeping the site online, it pays the bills pretty much. Nobody's getting paid. So people like Sean, I think you said, had the chat open. Smeggy, when he does them, Pink opens up lobbies all the time. Nobody's getting paid a dime for that. Everybody's doing it out of their love and their interest in seeing these conversations about guns continue. So thanks everybody who participates in those. Thanks for the guys that actually post them and make them happen. And thanks everybody for listening to our show. We'll be doing these again on the second Saturday of every month to plan out the month ahead. And we're here every week, or every weekday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific. See you Monday.
See ya.
The Guns and Gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.
It's 11:50.
Let's all go to the library.